Let us talk about one of the most powerful and heartbreaking stories ever told. It is a story about two women bound under one roof by love for the same man and by a deep shared desire for a child. This is the story of Sarah and Hagar. Sarah was the beloved wife of Abraham, the matriarch of a great nation promised by God. She was graceful, she was strong, but for decades her heart ached with the emptiness of a barren womb. Each month repeated the same quiet disappointment, hope fading with the sun. She carried the weight of a divine promise that felt beyond her reach. Then there was Hagar. Not merely a servant, she was woven into the life of the household, a woman with her own history and her own spirit. She served Sarah faithfully, witnessing private pain day after day. The silence in the tent swelled with unspoken prayers. Hagar saw it all, a silent observer of Sarah's struggle. Their lives intertwined by duty, by circumstance, and by a shared home, long before rivalry began to simmer. The conflict sprang not from pettiness, but from deep human yearning. To understand Hagar, we must look beyond the label of handmaid. Ancient rabbis painted a richer portrait of her. They say Hagar was no ordinary servant. Tradition calls her a princess, daughter of Pharaoh. He witnessed miracles for Sarah and honored her God. He deemed service in Abraham's house greater than Egypt's gold. This backstory means Hagar chose this path. She embraced a life steeped in faith. The rabbis describe her spiritual sensitivity. She perceived what others could not. It was central to who she was. Her spirit connected to the divine. Her gifts would become crucial. When she fled, she clearly saw the angel. The sages compare her vision to the greatest. She did not just hear, she met a messenger, a spiritual giant seen by heaven in her despair. Her saga stands on its own. Imagine the weight on Sarah's shoulders. Year after year, decade after decade, the promise remained unfulfilled. Silence marked what she lacked. Mother of Nations felt like a distant echo. In desperation and faith, she formed a plan. She asked Abraham to go to her handmaid, so that through Hagar she might be built. Not merely a child, an heir, a future. Sarah tried to partner with God's promise. Custom held the handmaid's child as the mistress's. Sarah willingly invited Hagar into her marriage, a selfless act born of deep pain. Abraham listened and agreed. The dynamics changed overnight. Lines between wife and surrogate blurred. Hope entered the tent, and a quiet, powerful tension. What happened next felt like miracle and sting at once. As soon as Abraham went to Hagar, she conceived. It was immediate. The rabbis emphasized that swiftness. For Sarah, who waited decades, prayed, hoped, wept, it felt like a slap. Blessing seemed given away so easily to her handmaid. The contrast was public and painful. Midrash imagines Hagar speaking boldly, questioning Sarah's righteousness because she was barren. Hagar felt validated, Sarah humiliated. This is where trouble begins. Daily symbols of fullness and emptiness faced each other. Respect eroded, rivalry grew. Joy was overshadowed. Abraham stood caught between them. Even miracles can wound when they land in fragile hearts. The tension reached a breaking point. Sarah felt her dignity stripped away.
The wrong done to me is your fault. I placed my maid in your arms. She conceived, and I became small in her eyes.
She laid the blame on Abraham. She found him too passive, failing to protect her honor. The rabbis weigh this moment heavily. They describe Sarah's treatment as harsh, afflicted, perhaps by burdensome labor and sharp words. Some disapprove, calling it a lapse of faith. Even our heroes have low points.
Your maid is in your hands. Do as you please.
Empowering or abdicating? The debate continues. By stepping back, he left Hagar vulnerable. A family triangle of pain, betrayed, mistreated, trapped. Their sanctuary became a battleground, and Hagar fled into the wilderness, unable to endure more. Hagar runs. Pregnant and alone, she flees. Absolute desperation. She abandons the only home she has known, to a vast, uncertain wilderness with no plan, no provisions. She flees harshness and failed protection. She feels abandoned by everyone. At a spring, she stops. Her future looks as barren as the land. Then, something incredible. An angel finds her. In her lowest hour, she is not alone.
Hagar, maid of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going?
I am fleeing my mistress Sarai.
Return, paired with a promise of uncountable descendants. Name your son Ishmael, God hears.
God saw her suffering. She was not forgotten. She calls him El Roy, the God who sees me, and returns strengthened. Hagar's story does not end with her return or Ishmael's birth. After Sarah's death, Scripture says Abraham took another wife, Keturah. It reads like a footnote, but the rabbis saw more. They identify Keturah with Hagar. A careful reading yields reconciliation beneath the text. Keturah echoes Keteret, incense, deeds pleasing to God. It implies a life of piety and good works. Another reading links it to binding, remaining chaste and faithful. She stayed tied to the path of faith. Imagine the weight of reunion. Abraham sought her out. He brought her back as a full wife, a healing of old wounds. He honored the mother of his firstborn. Hagar's journey circles from princess to handmaid, outcast to matriarch, a testament to resilience. No one is lost to God. Their story is more than an ancient drama. It is a mirror of our struggles with faith, our struggles with family, and our struggle with forgiveness. The rabbis drew lessons for our hearts today. Faith is tested in waiting and forged in affliction. Sarah took matters in hand after decades. Hagar found God in the wilderness. Faith is not a straight line. Doubt, desperation, discovery. Homes hold love and pain. Jealousy and insecurity can poison bonds. Abraham reminds us, peacekeeping requires courage. Meet conflict with compassion and directness. Hagar as Keturah teaches healing is possible. What is broken can be mended more beautifully. It is never too late to make amends, to honor whom we wronged, to restore relationships. Looking back at Sarah and Hagar, we see two triumphs of spirit. Sarah found her miracle, Isaac, and laughter returned. Blessings can arrive in unexpected seasons. Enduring faith blossoms after long waits. Hagar, a princess who became a servant, a surrogate, and an outcast, twice. Yet she never broke. She saw angels and named God. She raised Ishmael, father of a great nation. Just as promised, her story is for the cast out, forgotten, invisible. Even in deserts, there is an oasis and a direct line to the divine. Rabbinic Keturah reframes exile as honor, return, and grace. Reconciliation is the fruit of spiritual growth. Sarah and Hagar, two pillars of faith, two mothers of nations, intertwined by struggle and sacred purpose. Their story is our story. Resilience, faith, and the courage to be seen by God.